So thank you so much for joining us today. We're super happy to see you all here. And we'd love to have a big welcome from our PRSA Los Angeles President, Melissa England, who's here with us today. And she's going to give the official welcome and tell you just a tiny bit about what we're doing here at PRSA-LA.
Thank you, Melendy. This is one of my favorite events of the year. And I'm so glad that we're back. Last year, this event actually took place a week after we went into lockdown, so we had to cancel it last minute. So we are so glad to be back with it, albeit virtual, but hopefully we'll have some really great events that will start to be opening back up to in-person in the second half of the year, pending how things continue to progress with COVID. So thank you guys all for taking the time out of your day to join us. I know we have a great lineup of panelists here. I can't wait to see what was selected for the bad press releases, bad pitches. They never disappoint. And looking forward to hearing some of the great feedback as to ways we can continue to improve how we work with journalists. So thank you guys all for being here. If you like what you see today, I encourage you to check out PRSA-LA.org for our ongoing events. Tune in and follow us on social media at PRSA-LA for any updates. We have a reoccurring Clubhouse conversation on the last Tuesday of every month, hosted by our diversity and inclusion team, which has been phenomenal. If you're on Clubhouse, please join us. And we have, of course, our PRSA Prism Awards that will be coming up this fall. Stay tuned for some announcements regarding opening of the award submission process. But yeah, thank you guys for coming, and thank you, Melendy, for being our gracious host tonight.
Absolutely. Before we start, big thanks to Heather Herndon, who pulled this event together. It's fantastic. And Heather was like, she's a member of our board. This is what members of the board do. They jump in and they help where they can, and they pull together events. And she had actually never been to one of these events because it was canceled last year. But anyway, thank you so much, Heather, for doing this. It's fun, fantastic. And also a shout out to Cherie Gillens. Cherie, it's great to have you and the Inland Empire representing this event. And I guess you guys get your share of bad press releases, so we're super happy to see your journalist Lillian Vasquez to be a part of this event. So I'll hand it over to you, Cherie. Tell us a tiny bit about the Inland Empire PRSA and introduce your journalist to us, Cherie Gillens.
Thank you. Happy to do so. So good evening, everyone, and thank you to the LA chapter for this opportunity to co-host tonight. It's also a special welcome to all of our chapter members from the Inland Empire that are here. And also want to give out a shout out as well to our board members, Stephanie Graham and Julia Davis, for coordinating our involvement. When we came across this opportunity, we were like, we got to call the chapter. We got to link up. This is really neat. We wanted to bring fun. This has been a really trying, 18 months. So let's try to, incorporate or integrate the programming to bring a little levity to things. So for all of the IE members that are on the call, I just want to invite you to check out our upcoming programs in May and in June. On May 19th is our webinar on tools and strategies for employee communications in the new workplace. And in June, mid-June, we don't have a date set just yet, we'll be hosting our ever popular Meet the Media panel. So we're excited to bring that to you. Please as well check out our new website. We refreshed it to see what we're doing between now and the end of the year. So with that said, I'm excited to introduce our panelists from the IE, Lillian Vasquez. Lillian Vasquez works for KVCR, the public radio and television station serving the Inland Empire. Lillian is the radio host of her own show, Lifestyles with Lillian Vasquez. She reports, produces, and hosts a variety of programs for both radio and television. You may see her on KVCR-TV during the membership drives, encouraging viewers to become members. She has hosted the TV program A Conversation With, where she has the opportunity to talk with new and established artists on that are featured on PBS. She is involved in the community with a variety of nonprofit organizations. She sits on the board of directors from the Autism Society and is involved with many nonprofits in the IE serving individuals with special needs. She's a guest speaker and advocate for autism. She has hosted and produced several television programs on various aspects of the autism spectrum. 3 of her award-winning projects aired nationally on public television. Lillian has been featured in print, radio, and television, sharing her family's story. Lillian spearheads 2 KVCR initiatives for the station, the Veterans Initiative and the Autism Initiative. She works hard to serve both populations. Of all the hats she wears, she most enjoys conducting interviews because everyone has a story to tell and likes asking questions. Lillian's a wife and mother of 2, a daughter, Lindsay, 28, and a son, Grant, 26, who has autism, which she feels is her most important role. She has 1 grandson, Max, and another on the way. So that's a little bit about Lillian, and thank you, Lillian, for being a part of this program today.
My pleasure. Oh my gosh, when I gave you I said, cut it down. It was way
I actually did.
Jeez. Okay, what's next?
So what's next? I'm going to introduce the rest of our 3 fantastic journalists. Since their bios are cut down and they're very short and in the theme of, oh, the drama, I'm going to read you their bios in a very dramatic fashion. That way we can warm up to the theme of this event. So my first one is Amber Gibson. Amber Gibson is a nomadic freelance journalist who has recently moved to Venice, California, and her specialties include travel, food, wine, and wellness, and she has bylines. Incontinence Traveler, Travel Leisure, Rob Report, the list goes on. Departures, Bon Appetit, Zagat, NBC, NPR, Healthline, The Kitchen. Oh my God. Amber, is there a place you do not write? No, because she continues. In her free time, Amber enjoys yoga, namaste, Pilates, cooking mostly plant-based with her vegan boyfriend, and reading. Gelato, dark chocolate. Let me repeat this, dark chocolate. And champagne are her biggest weaknesses. So if you have a pitch and it's got dark chocolate, you might want to send it to Amber. So happy to have you here, Amber.
Thank you. Thank you for that, Melendy. It's great to be here and great to meet so many wonderful, PR reps in the Los Angeles area. So looking forward to working with a lot of you moving forward.
Absolutely. And we're so happy to have you here. Yes, you traveled more than 350 days out of the last calendar year in 2019, but we're so happy that for the time that you'll be spending here in 2021, it will be out of your home base, your new base of Venice, California.
Absolutely. Yeah. So many fun new coffee shops to discover. So
absolutely. I'll be there with you.
Yeah.
Next is Jennie O'Hagan. Now, Jennie is a 3-time Emmy-winning television producer and public relations professional. She was the original entertainment producer for the KTLA Morning News in Los Angeles and is currently a producer for LA Times Today. It's a daily news magazine on Spectrum News 1. You should be watching it if you're not. Jennie often produces red carpet coverage during award season, and she is the executive producer for KTLA's Rose Parade broadcast. And she's also an executive consultant for clients, including the OC Fair and Disneyland, in both publicity and video production. So welcome, Jennie. Hi, Jennie. Unmute yourself.
I know that sounds so exciting. I did just help reopen Disneyland on Friday, which actually was very exciting and dramatic. And there were lots of tears. So yeah, I mean, I wasn't crying, but other people were.
Oh, my daughter's going on Thursday. She cannot wait. It is literally part of her blood, but there you go.
Yeah, it was very fun. Thank you for having me.
And last but not least is Emma Sandler. Now, Emma is a New York-based business journalist, and she covers beauty and wellness for Glossy. She focuses on the shifts of power between heritage brands and indie newcomers, and along with the future of retail innovations in supply chain management and social media strategy. She has previously written for Auto Finance News and Forbes, but goodness, isn't it best to be landing at beauty and wellness for Glossy? Welcome, Emma.
Thank you for having me. I don't know how I'm going to follow up after your performance.
See, if you're born in Los Angeles, you get a little bit theatricality, but since you're New York finance based, I mean, we will be respectful of your own personal style, and that will be good. So Happy to have you here, Emma.
Thank you.
All right, guys, we're going to get it down and dirty now, and we're going to listen to some awful, awful press releases. Lillian, ¿quieres empezar? Would you like to start with the worst press release that you have in your back pocket at this time?
I am praying I can get through this. But here we go. Over 100 new unique monster bedding designs not created by Pixar Studios or Walt Disney Pictures added to the blank collection. New characters are arising from pencil tips of cartoon artists in the leading animation studios and answers the popular demands with new, cute, and unique characters for the bedroom. The start of a new year brings the debut of new cartoon characters in the latest animated movies, no doubt funnier and funny looking than ever. At blank.com, online home decor retailer has joined in the child-driven craze for funny caricature creatures through their new and updated monsters and cartoon decor line. Over 100 new monster-themed designs have been added. Kids looking for funny, cute, or even mildly scary cartoon designs in the bedroom will love everything that monster bedding has to offer. Both parents and children can agree that this new section of funny, intimidating, and even charming monsters, creatures, will bring any room to life. Kids can choose a single design or mix and match monsters for the entire bedroom, including blankets, pillows, rugs, and more. However, unlike other bedding companies, blank.com offers third dimensions of home decor by personalizing their new monster bedding with a child's name, quote, or even their own picture. Although the leading online retailer of home decor products does not offer Disney licensed images, they recently updated selections of unique and artistic cartoon creatures leaves little to be desired, boasting an impressive 15 million images in the online gallery. Kids and grown-ups alike are sure to find the perfect decor for the bed, walls, floor, and bathroom. The concept is simple. Customers select their favorite monster, pictures, or design from the gallery, and Blank uses the latest technology to turn them into bedding products with wall decor, shower curtains, rugs, and so much more. But it's not over. What if your child is an aspiring cartoon artist? Simply turning their own drawings into brand new bedding set will make them feel like a professional cartoonist. One of Blank's vast offerings includes custom bedding and is created with customers' own images. Not only can a child's own work of art be displayed for all to see, they will have treasured keepsakes for a lifetime. The goal is to find exactly what you're looking for in our new selection of monster decor. Whether it's for a child or a child at heart, there's a wide variety of cute and cuddly or dark, scary monsters, all of which can be personalized, says Blank's creative designer.
So Lillian, thank you
Yes.
so much for that. My heart goes out to you. I really do. I don't know how you do that. What would have made you actually read this release? That you had a personal relationship with that journalist? I mean, I just don't know how you would get through this, because I don't know if there's a whole like bunch of media who are actually writing about a story, not just like a photo of this cute, sheet or whatever, but who's writing a story about custom sheets or monster sheets? But
So I would have stopped reading it after the headline because
correct.
it says what they're not. It says they're not Disney, they're not Pixar, but this would not have appealed to me and I would have moved on. The topic could have been, but the way this was written was so discouraging that it was too hard to read, and I get too many a day to stop at this one. If it's not going to be easy and friendly and spell it out really quickly, I'm moving on to the next pitch.
Does it sound like they, their PR person or whoever wrote this is probably on the marketing team and is also writing, you know, information for sales materials? Because it sounded super salesy.
It is very salesy. It sounds like they're trying to say, it seems to me they could have said exactly what they're saying in maybe one paragraph, possibly two, and been done, instead of saying the same thing over and over and finding different ways to say it over and over.
Correct.
So it's a
your
waste of my time to
recommendation-
have to read it all.
So your recommendation then would be
Not to do the story.
not to. Well, your recommendation was like, sorry, wah, 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 that did not fly.
I
And
like
guess
pitches.
We need to be sensitive. Like, you guys don't have more than maybe 8 seconds that you can dedicate to us.
I like pitches. I get some of the best stories from the pitches that I get. And I have a lot of listeners that will say, where did you get that idea? And it's like, I didn't come up with it, because so many people are pitching story ideas, but it has to be within the first paragraph, and they start writing clumsy. And if I can't read it smoothly, then I check out. Unless the topic is, you know, I'm going to interview Kevin Costner or something. Otherwise, you know, I'm going to check out, because it's not, it's too hard to read.
Was there one thing that you would have said, had you told me this in the first sentence, I would have perhaps read it? What was the one thing that could have saved this person?
So if they would have said something like looking for a children's birthday gift idea,
got it.
That would have been a lifestyle like thing. Or looking to put something under the Christmas tree, that would have gotten me more than what they said they were doing. Because I might be looking for a segment on Christmas, or I might, it's, you know, depending the time of year, like right now is Mental Health Month. So I'm going to be looking for stories that are about that, or doctors that want to speak about that. So yeah.
So the lesson learned is think about what you're thinking about and then try to make something of interest.
And that's hard, because how can anybody know what I'm thinking? It could be very different than Amber.
Well, we need to read what you're writing. We need to know what's going on. So
Right.
That's our job. Lillian, thank you so much.
Thank you.
You were beautifully dramatic, and I hope there's an Academy Award out there ready for you. That's awesome.
Got
All
it
right,
at home,
let's go
Lillian.
now to Jennie. So Jennie,
Hi.
what do you
So
have for us?
I have some mean ones too, but I would say I would go back to the printed artwork again, just because I'm specific to sort of the TV news side. I see Tony Molly out there who would also know about this, but you know, if you create a segment around those sheets, for instance, it's Mother's Day this week, and we have these special sheets that we will bring in with our lifestyle expert. We will do the segment, we will bring the bed, we will put it together. If you create a segment, you know, special little tip, producers really like people to produce segments for them, because then they don't have to produce as many, right? So if you sort of put it together in that way, I also would say that. And then of course, if you're looking at influencers, all those mommy influencers out there who definitely want their kids' artwork on their sheets, you're gonna offer it to them specifically. What I really like is when people send me a press release in the attachment, but send me a little note that says, hey, Jennie, I really am specifically looking for the LA Times today to do this story, because the LA Times did a story about how sheets and the number of thread counts is important. It's connected to you. If you're interested, look at my press release. Because then I won't even, you know, don't even really have to look at the press release unless it's ready.
So helpful.
Right? Okay.
All right. Do you have something awful to share?
I do. I mean, I don't understand any of this at all, because I'm like nowhere near 50. So I can't really help any of you who are, but I'm just going to read this and let you, maybe you guys can help me out here. Get abs for your 50th. I mean, also, I already have abs, so it's all cool. Some people say that midlife crisis looms at that age. Don't fall victim to such a crisis, and overcome whatever negative emotion you may come to expect as the result of turning 50. Wait a minute, why would you have a negative emotion about 50? Like 50 is the new 30, people. Come on, that's the headline? All right. Like most folks who are turning 50, getting abs isn't exactly on their priority list. Forget getting abs. Working towards general fitness and health is even further from your mind. I mean, obviously you are so old, there's no way you're even thinking about being well in good shape. I want to challenge you today to think the opposite. I want you to imagine yourself healthy, like, back when you were 12, and fit, being able to play and keep up with the energy levels of your grandchildren. What? Getting abs isn't exactly number one on the priority list of people who are turning 50. Again, general fitness and health all seem to be a foreign concept for most folks. Today, I dare you to think the opposite. So imagine yourself healthy and fit and being able to play and keep up with the energy levels of your grandchildren. Again, with those grandchildren. It's a rare sight to see a guy of 50 with a solid six-pack. I mean, 50, like in the home, right? In most cases, we tend to see 50-year-olds who are pot-bellied, sag-faced, with strips of white hair and with no or little stamina to save their life. It basically sounds like all of us after COVID, right? Majority are just consumed with work that general fitness and exercise is a no-go. I don't know about you, but all work and no exercise tends to dampen our zeal in life. I have titled this article, Get Abs for Your 50th, because it sets yourself up for what could be the ultimate physical challenge that you will face. The fact that this challenge seems impossible is exactly why you need to do it. 30 years plus of all work and no exercise is not a positive way to greet your 50th, your half century. I will not read the rest of this because it is so long, but I will say that it is 3 pages long, which already, if it were not a novel, would be too long of a press release.
So what do you call this when they kind of pretend like they're a journalist and they write you something like, oh, I have this great idea for an article, I'm just going to send it to you. Would you want to just put your name on it? I mean, what are they trying to do here?
Number one, why would you attack and sort of insult every person that you've ever known? First of all, if I'm 20, I'm not reading this because it had the word 50 in it. And like, that seems so far away, I wouldn't even open it. If I'm 45, I'm going to start getting like an anxiety attack if I start to read this. If I'm 50, I'm going to be like, you, dude, you are full of it. I'm in the best shape of my life. I've been eating sourdough bread and banana bread for a year. I don't know what you're talking about. I have abs of White Claw. Like, stop it, would you? This is insulting and weird, and there's nothing good about it. But I would say that if you were trying to get my attention, it worked. But I would be so furious that I would have not looked at it. But I will also say that as a sort of, I don't know, bougie producer at this point, I don't read anything that's this long, just on the principle of it. So you really have to have caught my attention much earlier. And I guess if you'd sent me an email that said, hey, Jennie, you must be in the worst shape of your life because you're almost 50. Do you want to do a segment with me? I probably wouldn't have read it either. So.
But Jennie, since you guys are so kind and so generous, how would you have pitched this if you were kind and generous and paid professional? Like,
okay, look, Jane Fonda is like a dream. Okay, Frances McDormand, who, by the way, you will all be impressed with this, so I will share with you, was at the Casa del Mar on Friday night, as was I, to see the sunset. We happened to walk by each other on the way to the bathroom. Frances McDormand is in really good shape and looks fantastic and just won an Academy Award. And, you know, I would take her exercise tips. Look, being 50 is the most extraordinary time of your life. You've already learned so many lessons. You're now on your way to this golden time where you know stuff and can still work for like 30 years. So what if I were to give you some tips on ways to make yourself have more energy? That's the pitch. You don't need abs, you need energy, right? We need extra. So you're beautiful, you're already amazing, you've already learned stuff, your kids are gone, or you're lucky enough to just be in a place where you've learned a lot of stuff. Some of us are like graduating with our master's degree, or we might be having just gotten vaccinated. Like all of these things you can talk about that are engaging and are happy and that show that this time of your life is impressive. And then I'm going to offer you this energy with this little workout. That's 3 pages long.
Wow.
Yeah, Jennifer Lopez is over 50, Melissa England. Exactly.
Yes. And she puts
Come
all
on.
many people to shame on both sides of the age spectrum. So
I mean, honestly, who isn't at this point over 50? Like, I can't even really think of anyone who isn't.
hey, I'm 55 and I'm happy to say it because, you know, at some point in life, you just got to embrace it all. So
I would love to know how you're to say your name correctly, but I'm going to guess that it's Angeli. Is that right? Is asking what's the longest a press release should be. And I would say that a really good one sheet tip sheet is probably for me, and other people can pipe in, but is really the information I need, because if I'm impressed by your one sheet, I can ask you more questions. We can dig further in. And again, 1 page press release, 1 paragraph pitch. Right?
thank you.
I'll agree with that. Yeah, with the number of press releases that I get every day, I don't have time to read through all of them. So really it's like that first paragraph and headline. And I'm trying to determine if it's something I'm interested in pitching or that would fit for one of the stories I'm currently working on.
Yeah, and I would also say the connection is really, really important. And having worked with the LA Times for the last couple of years, I've seen that this is even more engaging in the print media side, because people have their, they either write for sports or lifestyle or Star Wars or, whatever. And so it's kind of an easy tool to get rid of things if you get an email and it's not in your world. So
Yes.
if you send an email to Todd Martins, who's the video game critic at the LA Times, and you want to talk to him about gardens, he's going to delete it immediately. And we also get pitches often that are like, "Dear blank," and I'm like, "Oh, that's not for me."
Blank.
Click. And it might have been like, "Dear blank, I'm going to give you Kevin Costner." And I will have not seen it, because there are really so many emails that come through now. We have to have some way of deciphering. And so make sure that you spell people's names right, please. I mean, those are the things that we're doing now, is that we're figuring out how we can get through all our stuff. Does it say "Dear Jennie," Jenny?
So but before the pandemic, when I was traveling constantly, like the first thing I would do, I would get anxiety if I was on a 14-hour flight and I just missed like a whole work day, and I open, I turn on my phone and I now have like 500 plus unread emails to go through. And I've tried to put a few filters up, in my inbox, but the first thing I'm doing is just like deleting as much as I can without looking at it, because it's just too much. Like I'm never going to be able to, I try to keep my, get my inbox down daily and definitely weekly to kind of, the only things in my inbox are actionable things I need to be working on. So in that first, 10 seconds, if it doesn't seem like it's relevant to me, I'm deleting it.
So I'm going to be honest here and tell you that I kill trees. I know I do. I'm sorry. I'm over 50. I want to print things out because I'm going to read them later when I'm on a plane, when I'm at home, and I want to read them and write notes on them and scratch them out. So I'll print a few 5 or 6, 7 stories that I'll read that night in bed and see if it's a story, because I host 2 different shows. One is more serious, one is lighthearted. So I'm looking at both press releases. But I'll go through them fairly quickly and decide, okay, I'll print this one. The rest will be tossed, because I get 60 or 70 a day.
It's true.
A really good phrase to remember, Lillian. Is it worth to print?
Yes, right, exactly. And I don't print them all, but I'll print the ones that, oh, this looks good, intriguing. This could work for the serious show, or this could work for lifestyles, the lighthearted show.
And
Thank
Christy
you
is
so much,
asking,
everyone. This has been so much fun. Amber, we need to hear some bad
yes.
things from you.
Yes. So I am just reading the worst press release I got in the last 2 weeks since I knew I was doing this. And mine's a little shorter, at least. It starts out with saying, I hope this finds you, your family, and your friends healthy. Oh, the subject line is strange time to sneeze. These allergy tips can help. I hope this finds you, your family, and your friends healthy. I'm sending the attached pitch for consideration with your viewers. So first off, I'm like, I don't have viewers. I'm a freelancer. I don't do any broadcast work. Like, I don't know what this person's talking about. In essence, our team of experts has assembled a list of 5 ancient recommendations for allergy season woes. This particular spring allergy season is in full swing, and it's bad. These ancient techniques work and help boost immunity. Rather than antihistamines, which make you foggy and groggy, we've assembled a variety of traditional Chinese medicine recommendations, from acupressure points to breathing techniques, dietary adjustments, and herbal components that can be practiced at home right now. Of particularly note, the practice of gua sha, which is extremely trendy on TikTok right now, is excellent for sinus relief and skin beauty. We can supply B-roll of this. If there is interest in learning more or scheduling time for an interview, we would welcome the opportunity. Look forward to hearing from you. So there are a multitude of things wrong with this. Like, first of all, it gave me no information. It screams cultural appropriation on like every level. And I'm half Chinese, and I do write about traditional Chinese medicine. But this is like, if I need an expert, I would never go to you. You haven't even told me who you want me to interview. Like, schedule an interview with who? And the idea that you're promoting gua sha because it's extremely trendy on TikTok right now, and that the idea that people can just simply practice Chinese medicine at home by themselves, like, it's so easy, just look on YouTube and then you can, just do your acupressure points, is kind of insulting too. And just, this is garbage to me. Whatever you're trying to push, I'm not even clear what you're trying to sell me right now, but I'm not sold.
I feel bad. I don't want to ask you, like, what would you do to make this better? Because it's just, I feel like, especially cultural appropriation and just not having any sort of sensitivity, and like, they just did so many things wrong.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't sure why so many things were in quotations either. Like, acupressure points, like, they're not real acupressure. Like, they're, like, what are you even trying to say? So this was a big miss. And it was interesting that the subject line didn't even say anything about traditional Chinese medicine. It just said, strange time to sneeze. These allergy tips can help. Like, assuming you actually read some stories I wrote about traditional Chinese medicine, and that's why you're pitching me, I would think that would go in the subject line as, TCM something. Like, TCM can help allergies or whatever, which you haven't convinced me of that in this pitch, but,
Jennie, I wanted to ask you and Amber, do you get offended if it says for your viewers or for your readers or for your whatever, when that's not your medium?
I don't get offended. I notice when things are like, or they leave like a blank in my name or whatever, or spell my name wrong or stuff. But I also understand that, like, with the amount of work people are trying to go through, just because you accidentally left someone else's name in there, if the actual topic is good, I wouldn't be like, I'm so offended, I'm not going to respond to this. Right. If it's something I think I can write about. I understand everyone makes mistakes. Like, I'm not going to lie. I'm sure there's been times when someone had a name that maybe got like auto-corrected, and I've spelled someone's name wrong too. So,
Jennie, what do you think?
I just don't think it's necessary. I don't think I would be offended, but I don't think.
But you would still read the press release and consider the story? You wouldn't toss it just because they don't have the right medium?
I probably would. I want people to send me a note that says, hey, Jennie, I know that you're working on these stories for the LA Times and for the LA Times Today, and I've seen your work, and this is why I think it works for your show. And I think, and the reason I'm being so specific, when I'm teaching, I know Denise Ferguson is here, and she is also a professor, and I think that when we're teaching our students, we say like, you need to know your audience. You need to know who you're pitching because you're taking up someone's time, which is worth money. So you can send a general pitch if you want to, but you should know and be and understand that that is a filter. It is a way that people filter out the many, many, many emails that you receive.
100%. And I would say I don't mind getting like a general press release about like a new restaurant opening because I cover a lot of restaurants. But it's surprising how often I'll get those press releases and it doesn't say where the restaurant is, like immediately, like have some sort of like dateline. Because unless it's a chef that I'm like intimately acquainted with and stuff, I don't know if I can't tell, if I'm trying to figure out what state, what country this restaurant is even in, like that's not something I'm going to be writing about. And also the general press releases, like you don't need to follow up on those, right? Like I got it. If I'm interested, I'll be in touch, or maybe I'll archive it. And if something comes up, I'll be in touch then. If someone actually takes the time to write me like a targeted release with my name and they're saying, I think this would be a great fit for this publication, which is always helpful because as a freelancer, I'm writing for a couple dozen publications fairly regularly. You know, if you say, I think this could be a good fit for like A or B publication, then it's like, okay, we can begin having that conversation. And I definitely feel like as a freelancer, I'm trying to pitch good stories to my editors. So I really have like good, strong relationships with several PR professionals that I want to work closely with. And I want to together come up with good stories that I can then sell to my various outlets.
Yeah, I agree with both Jennie and Amber on those points. Like, if someone said your viewers, they clearly don't know who I am, what I write about, or have ever read my publication, which is digital only and never has had viewers before. But I also agree with Amber's point that, you know, general pitches, certainly okay with them. Sometimes I get 4 of the similar trend, and then I realize there's a trend story somewhere within that. But you also don't need to follow up on those because I don't need to know what there is to know about a new product. You sent me the information.
Yeah. I also sometimes get the whole like, here's a pitch and then would love to know what you're working on right now, as if I had time to just tell you all the things I'm working on. I wouldn't have time to actually work on anything.
Yes, wholeheartedly. But I'm getting those right now where it's like, would love to know what you're working on. And I understand the logic, and I'm sure it makes sense for many people. For me, it does not, because I'm following a news cycle. I'm not a long lead reporter. So to me, like, you bring me the story and I'll tell you if it's good or not. There's very few chances where I'm working on something and I'm just reaching out and I'm like, oh yeah, this might work for you and your brands.
Right. I mean, just today I turned in 2 like totally separate stories. One on how to grill salmon for Business Insider, like coming up on grilling season, and another one for Condé Nast Traveler on like the best remote work visas that have launched like in this last year during the pandemic. And I'm, you know, in the docket, like I'm working on a boozy dessert guide for Father's Day, an artisan ice cream that delivers nationally, like shopping guide, you know, like a story about 6 beauty treatments worth splurging on this summer. So it's like very, very different topics.
Thank you so much, Amber. We've got so many fantastic things going on. This is such a great opportunity for everyone to, you know, be entertained in a little bit. And we're hearing all these amazing, you know, ideas about how to pitch and how not to pitch, but also we love hearing about what you're working on and what you're interested in. So thank you so much for giving those updates. They all sound delicious. Emma, tell us the bad things from your viewpoint. What's going on?
Yes. So this one I received a few days ago. The subject line is Rip Maskney, ditch your quarantine skin in time for hot back summer. Hi, Emma. Hope you're staying safe, well, and energized. Happy Friday, and congratulations on making it through another month of 2021. How are you doing, babe? Wanted to send you a cheery note in hopes of brightening your inbox in case you're working on any beauty or skincare stories ahead of the summer months. If you're anything like me, quarantine has done a number on your skin. From periods of intense maskne to random patches of alligator skin, moving into hot vax summer is not the time to have less than flawless skin. Supercharge your summer skincare with CBD-packed beauty products to leave you glowing. CBD has many topical perks, such as reducing inflammation and preventing the production of sebum, which is a major cause of acne. So sexy! More importantly, adding products with only the highest quality ingredients and taking time to pamper yourself is a form of self-care and self-love. And we desperately need more of that in the age of Zoom fatigue. CBD skincare essentials from blank brand have you ready to take off your mask when approved by the CDC and showing off your radiant skin. Keep me posted if you're working on any related stories or need any relevant expert recommendations. If you'd like to experience some samples for yourself, please let me know. Wishing you health and hustle, blank. And then they include the list of products that they're essentially pitching, but we don't need to go into that.
What are the two things that that hurt most when you read this release?
It's too cute. All the puns. I actually, based on the subject line alone, deleted this email and then later was like, ooh, no, I need a bad press release to read. So I went through my trash and found it. But the other thing, this is a weird thing, it's perhaps a little bit personal to me, but the "how are you doing, babe?" I don't know who this person is. I've never spoken to this person before. I don't know where they acquired my information from, although I know my email's out there in the world. But it's like, I don't know you. Why are you talking to me like we're gal pals?
Yeah, because it's not 3 o'clock in the morning at the disco. We're in the bathroom. We're like, you know.
Yeah, we're like 3 wines into the night and now we're like best friends.
A little different.
Life. Yeah, so it just reeks of trying too hard.
Okay, could you save this at all? What would you have done to actually save this?
Well, there's a phrase in journalism called burying the lead, which is when you put like the actual news like later in the story, and by then like half the people have already like stopped reading it. So I actually know the brand that they're pitching me. I've met the founders for a desk side. I'm not sure if that person knows of this because it was a while ago that I met those people for a desk side. But if they had said, hey, this brand has these new products, you may be familiar, you may not, we'd love to arrange a desk side, I could have been open to that. I'm personally not a big fan of CBD, but that's a different issue. But maybe if it's something related to the CBD industry, maybe if it's based on my work in business journalism, if it's an interesting new marketing campaign, if they're trying something new or different, that's the key word. What is new and or different about what you are pitching? Because that is what makes it newsworthy. So if they had said they're, the first CBD brand to advertise on TikTok or something, I would have been ecstatic. I would have been like, tell me more.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. I think we have about 10 minutes left to go. There have been such great questions that have been popping up here in the chats. And I just love how everyone's like, I'm just going to respond directly to this question. So thank you, Amber, for responding to this question on whether, do people use Haro still? Let's see. I'm going to just run through some of the questions and see if I just love seeing all this chatter. This is great. I feel like I'm in a room with all these people talking and it feels like we're all together. Oh, but it's just Zoom. Oh, well. Anyway, some good questions that are coming up. Any tips on the subjects, lines of emails? Emma, go.
Yeah, let me see. I'm looking through my email right now in terms of press releases or emails that I actually kept. I would say a few things that stand out are phrases like, at least for me, because again, it's business journalism, X brand expanded into Y category, these new products from X brand. Here's one that says pitch, Heritage Estee Lauder relaunches daywear for Gen Z on TikTok. I like relaunch, I like Gen Z, I like TikTok, and I like Estee Lauder. So get the most interesting and relevant parts and put that in. I mean, the hot vac summer, and then it talks about CBD. That makes no sense. I don't know what I'm opening. So yeah, and just find things again that what is new or different. Expand is different. Launch is different, or at least new. Things like that.
So a press release for Emma and for me would not work the same because I don't care about product. We're NPR. We're not trying to sell anything or talk about, we're telling stories. So the same kind of pitch to you, Emma, would not, I would, you know, if they're talking about any product or the newest cosmetic or anything like that, you know, I'm not, that's not going to go anywhere. I do like it when they say, here's the pitch, and they give ideas of how the story could go or different things that, if it's a PR agency that's talking about whoever wrote a book or whatever the doctor is and what they could talk about and a variety. So I like those, but it would be very different for me to get your same press release because it wouldn't, there'd be nothing there that would be of interest for me because I have of what I'm doing differently.
Yeah, and I think from my perspective from television, is that, for instance, for local television, if you say San Bernardino, new Randy's Donuts opening, or Irvine, we're adding a color beige to the Home Depot, those kinds of things, like specific things that are localized, because in local TV, that's what we're looking for, or Go ahead.
Is it the location rule applies to journalism as well as to real estate?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, especially like imagine that you're sitting at the assignment desk at KMBC and you have to send out 5 reporters today, and there's some responsibility to cover the whole, Southern California. So if it says, Inglewood, then that's going to grab you in local television, in local news, right? And then of course it has to be, whoops, there goes my earbud. Then it has to be a good story, but very local. I mean, Spectrum, which is the station that my show is on at 7 and 10 p.m. daily, they're very specifically local, and they want to look into those things. So, and they want Boyle Heights, and they don't just want downtown LA, which everyone covers. They want Burbank, and they want La Habra, and they want, right? So for me, that's really sort of an important thing. And then secondarily, like specific to, if you're going to be on the, KTLA morning news and it's going to be Sam, you're going to say like, I know you love donuts. Randy's Donuts is opening a new shop. And I understand Randy's Donuts is opening a new shop. So we should all be looking for it. I think it's in Torrance. But very specific to the people. And, Leslie Lopez on Channel 7 just went viral. She was in her living room doing weather, and her little baby came up and like hugged her legs. And it was kind of a cool, like, we're all at home working, even the meteorologist. And if you can open with that kind of thing that shows that you're watching and that you're participating in the actual medium that you're trying to pitch, that really helps us. I mean, we're people too. We want you to know us. We want you to see us.
So mine would be the same thing. The other day, Home Depot was pitching a story about something they were doing for veterans. So I was very interested in the story, and they were going to do it in our market, but they considered LA our market, and the Inland Empire is not LA. So I don't want to do a story about Home Depot to get a job in LA. If they're going to do a story in San Bernardino or Redlands, then they had my attention. But I reached out to them. I did get back with them, and I asked, will this be covering the Inland Empire? Oh, really close. How close? And it'll be in Inglewood. Yeah, not close enough, but thanks. Love the story, but not my market. So the cities are really, really important. Unless it's something nationally, then that's different. But if it's talking something locally, then I want it to be in the Inland Empire, because we're already a desert media in the Inland Empire. Spectrum doesn't cover us enough, just saying.
Amber, here's a question for you. Do you ever read the boilerplate of a press release? Well, let's preface that. Let's put this cart before the horse. Do you read press releases? Are they dead, in your opinion?
No, I don't think they're dead. They can give me the information that I need to pitch my editors, but it's even better if you can get that short pitch that I can like literally copy and paste and turn around and pitch my editor, because that saves me a lot of work. And I don't get paid when I'm pitching editors. I only get paid once I'm writing the story, right? So just like I try to make my editors' jobs easier, the easier you make it for me and really say, hone in. It's like, I think this would be a great fit for this department in this publication. And I'm like, okay, got it. Like we're on the same page now. Sometimes, I'll get a good press release pitch that might have a story in it, but like Emma was saying, sometimes you have to piece together several different pitches in order for me to come up with a pitch that my editor is going to like. And I might not on any given day or given week have the time to actually go through that and do that research and try to put that story together. So if you can already give me a couple of steps into that, that's really helpful.
That's good. Thanks. That's very helpful to know that, let's get it short and sweet up front. We can break it out into some bullet points, and then the link to the full release here with the boilerplate, because it might be of interest to you, because, you may know this company or you may know this chef or whoever, but your editor might not. That's very helpful.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Also, Angeli asked about calling, and I'm like, no, if we don't have a call schedule, do not call me. The only person who like calls me without a call scheduled is like my mom or my agent. Like if he has a gig for me, I'm like, otherwise, no.
See, the only people who call me are my mom or someone trying to sell me on car insurance, and I don't have a car. So I'm going to assume it's spam.
I get those spams as well. Yeah.
So, and on the subject of phone calls, my like old email signature has my office number, obviously not in the office now. So at some point that voicemail box is going to get full, and I'm not giving out my phone number like that.
Mm-hmm.
Jennie,
Yeah.
for broadcast, would you recommend that, we send the tip sheet and then we follow up with the, I don't know, the news desk team? I mean, can you call those people? I feel like you kind of need to do that when it's broadcast and we have like an event at 2:00 on Thursday.
Sure. I mean, I think the assignment desk is still taking calls for sure. And yet they're taking thousands of calls. So in that case, your pitch has to be extremely well honed, almost practiced, which, over time, as we get older, closer to our 50s and we need the abs, we're pretty good at pitching really, really, really concisely, but you wouldn't say, hey babe, how's your Friday? You're going to want to just really be consistent and concise with your pitch, because if you're calling the assignment desk, it's literally to say the OC fair is starting tomorrow, July 12th at 7 a.m. Are you going to send someone? And they're going to say, yeah, hold on.
Everyone get that? We got it? Good. Thank you so much.
And in terms of the following up, I saw another question about like, when should we stop following up? And for me, if you are actually inviting me on like a press trip or to an event, I do try to respond to every single one of those, even if it's a no. It's a quick no. I understand as from your side trying to put together the guest list for that, or especially like an international press trip. If I know I can't go, I'm going to let you know right away so you can continue inviting other people. But if it's a generic press release and you follow it up like once, maybe in a week or so, just assume it's not of interest if you haven't heard back. When someone really takes the time to give me like an exclusive, I'll always get back to you though. Because again, if it's not a fit right now for me or for my publications, I want you to have the chance to continue pitching that.
Amber, do you believe that when we do this follow-up, it was not only just, did you see this email, but do we have to actually offer something in addition to what we already shared?
No, because I understand, like, especially if like you don't know, just like I don't know where like my editors are on any given day. You don't know where I am. If I did just have that 14-hour flight and I'm like frantically trying to go through emails, maybe I accidentally deleted it, didn't look too carefully at it. Maybe I honestly missed it. So I think one follow-up is just like, hey, just wanted to push this to the top of your inbox. If I don't hear back from you, I'll assume, it's not a fit right now. It's fine.
Did everyone get that? That was a really good line too.
I would also say that perseverance does work in certain cases. So someone told me a while ago, like, do you ever not see an email? Because when publicists email you and say like, I don't know if you saw this. I mean, guess what? We saw it. Like, we're looking at our emails. We've seen them. And exactly right. If it's a generic email and you haven't heard back in a week, there's probably not interest. But if I say, you know what, we can't take Chelsea Handler right now because we're doing Oscar stuff, if you come back to me and say, okay, now it's Emmy time and Chelsea Handler is up for an Emmy, and then you say, so what do you think about that? That really does help me, because I won't remember, you know, that pitch from back then. But if you come back with good timing, perseverance does matter. And I really do appreciate when you've circled back. So
And sometimes on my end too, I might tell someone, hey, if you want to follow up with me next month, this might be a fit for something then. But especially when it comes to like products, if you're like offering me a sample and I'm not sure yet if I'd be covering something, I don't want to just say like, yes, please send me all the things. You know, I want to make sure I actually have a story fit for it. And, you know, I might be like, oh, I have a conversation with my editor next week to talk about like Father's Day gift guides or whatever. And it might be a fit for something there. So I might ask someone to follow up with me.
That's fantastic. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you everyone for joining us today. It has been so much fun. I know everyone at PRSA-LA would have loved to have just had this moment together, but we've had it by Zoom and it's been fantastic. I have literally like 4 pages of notes. I'm going to write this up in a little blog with all these good little tips that you guys have so generously shared. Thank you so very much. You're all good people and you have not let us out in the cold. And we thank you for this so much. You guys are just amazing. If I was a student, I would be in your classes. If I have the chance to have lunch or coffee with you, I hope we can. You all are amazing. So thank you so much. Thank you, Melissa. Thank you, Heather. Thank you all the team at PRSA-LA for making this happen. And we want to thank you for staying around. We're going to get through this year and we hope to see you at the next event.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for having us, Melendy. And I am happy to make new friends if anyone is around Venice or, you know, has clients in the health, travel, food, drink, wellness space.
Thanks for the opportunity. Enjoyed it.
Yeah.
nice to meet you all. Thank you.
Thank you
Bye,
again
my
from the IE
friends.
chapter. Thank
Bye.
you.
So much, Jennie.
Hey,